Justice and Gary McCord are getting canned, and they have a contract up in 2 years where they can take PGA Tour events anywhere. They could take it to Facebook Live if they wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
They can take it anywhere at that point in time, and I think they're going to go. They could take it to a subscription platform. They can take golf anywhere in 2 years. Golf has to attract younger guys like us.
Because it's dying.
You go to any club right now.
Millennials are not playing golf, man.
Yeah.
It's too expensive. They don't have the time.
Golf.
They don't make any money.
They're going to play disc golf. Like they're doing other
Soccer
other
golf.
things. Soccer
I've
golf.
seen this thing of like they literally get a tennis ball and they go in the street with like a 7-iron that they bought from like whatever the place, and they just smash tennis balls around hitting targets.
Yeah, and I mean it still has the same effect. Like you're still playing the same game just in a different way. But hey, golf's expensive. It takes a long time to play. Even for myself, I was doing 40 rounds a year when I was younger, and now I have a tough time getting up for 10.
Crazy.
Well, we're rolling, so I'm gonna say cue sound the sound. He'll sound the sound when the podcast starts. 4Jack Pod.
Yep.
Tom and Chris. Tell us about the pod first, and then we're going to keep talking about golf, and we'll go back to Kyle and lessons and growing up here in Edmonton and go from there.
Yeah, too good.
So 4Jack. So like I said, it's 4Jack on the green. You got to buy a jug for the group at the end of the day.
Exactly.
How'd you guys come up with that name?
I like that.
Yeah.
And then that's where you can kick it off.
Yeah.
So give her. What's the what was the start? Why'd you guys start it? I know podcasts are the rage right now. The reason we started is we wanted to make more content. We wanted this pillar content that we could distribute across platforms, get some nice YouTube videos, kind of grow. But what was your guys' why start it and why golf related?
I'll dive in. I mean, Tom and I talked about working on a pod for a couple of years. I mean, I'm like a insanely like serial avid podcast listener. Have been for years. Like living in Sydney, like in Australia, like there was a lot of transit time, so it was like I'm just constantly listening. I'm like, I can do this, like for sure. I'm like, okay, well, what's something I can talk about that we can all tie in together between myself, Tom, and Cody? Golf. I mean, that's something that all three of us have like an insane amount of knowledge on, and we're like, yeah, like this would be a great idea to do this. So, it was good timing at the time when we kind of started it, because I was going to school for brand development and marketing, and we had to have a business. So you have to have a brand, and you need to show all your work, obviously.
So it's good to get it going then.
Yeah, and it was just like, bang, let's do it. And we were off and running quick, and honestly, it was just right into it. I mean, our first couple pods were like using Anchor over the phone. Yeah. And just being like, the sound was so bad, and it was.
But you know what? That doesn't matter. I so many people come in and they say to me like you've got to have perfect sound. You need the best equipment. You really don't.
You just need the content.
You just need the content, and the content is to present value. And in your guys' niche, you have that.
Yeah.
Right.
Which it's funny because I don't even know if you mentioned this aspect of it, but like he was living in Australia when he was taking this program, and then, like our very first podcast, I was in my car, like my girlfriend's upstairs sleeping because there's a 16-hour time difference at 1 o'clock in the morning. And we're just like, it's time to do it, right? Like it's about creating the content, and you're never gonna be 100 episodes deep in like a smooth oiled machine without the first 2 or 3, like 4, 5, 10, 20, whatever. But it was nice because it just got that gear in motion, right?
I love it because I try to say that all the time, right? You have to create your history, you got to create your brand, but at the end of the day, that history, if you try to have that well-oiled machine from day one, I'm proud of the fact that people will go back to my first podcast at some point in time and be like, you know what? He wasn't that good. Yeah. Right? Like it wasn't that good. Sure. And even now, we still keep learning every single time we do one. Yeah. But it's improved, and we just want to keep it improving as we go on. And I think any podcaster that's starting, like podcasts are still hot. They're still not at scale. There's a lot of room if you have a niche podcast for those listeners to tune in and for you to get an audience. So if anyone's starting, just go.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean,
Right?
if you look at the fact that, I mean, Google's using that as searches now with something
voice,
that's said over a podcast. I mean,
Yeah.
you're silly not to just get it out there. And the thing is, like, when we started, I mean, to go back and reference our earlier episodes, I mean, they were a bit rough around the edges.
Oh,
And,
yeah.
like, even
yeah.
finding your voice
Yeah.
was not the simplest of things, you know, and not to say that we totally cut this out because it definitely happens, but I mean, you know, you use swearing,
Yeah.
and you're kind of just filling in those gaps at times because you're like, how do I piece this? And
But
like you said,
it's-
every episode you get better.
Yeah, and so when I started, I've said this a couple times. So anyone listening for the third time I've said it, I'll sound like a broken record. I used to plan everything out. So I used to have a little sheet, and I knew the people that were coming, and I did a little research, and I would guide the conversation, and you could just tell I was weaving and taking it from one to the next rather than just sitting down and having a conversation. So I learned very quickly, don't burn content before. Don't talk too much before or do any planning really. Just know the premise of what that podcast is going to get talk about, and then just get into a conversation, and it turns out 100 times better than those
Yeah.
first ones. So that's something that I've learned at the beginning. And again, the sound, video, none of it matters as much as you building the content.
Yeah.
And then over time, you're going to keep learning.
Right. You keep getting better at, like, okay, today we realized the microphone setting that we had, like, we had Dallas, our good buddy, who's
Yeah.
the number one golfer in Alberta on, and Cody and I, because we didn't have the right setting, like, our voice wasn't that great in it, but his was so awesome, and, like, that's the important thing, is, like, this is about you. Like,
Yeah.
we're kind of peripheral, but then you take that experience of, like, okay, wow, we have to do something to make this a little better at least.
Thankfully for him, he dominated the conversation. The good voice was there.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, and really, I have seen it a couple times. If you have an iPhone and a tripod and you can put it up, and you're talking
good.
towards the iPhone,
Yeah.
you will have good enough audio
Mhm.
to create your start of your podcast. And not only that, you can video it. You can put that out on social media
I was
channels.
using it on my laptop, using Zoom.
Yeah.
Or like doing it on that. Like, I had
Exactly.
a mic and it was terrible quality, and I'm like, this quality on my laptop is fine. And you know what, like, to go back to like my time in Sydney, I mean, yeah, that was difficult too, because for one, like, scheduling was brutal. I mean, I was out between 16 to 18 hours ahead.
Yeah.
And then I'm like trying to find a space to do it in the house and away from people, and it became a bit of a mission, but you can
Yeah.
still make it happen, and it was still great quality and a good amount or a good piece of content.
Yeah, totally.
So
Totally.
One thing that's exciting me is, like, obviously Chris and Cody are good friends of mine. Cody's not here,
Yeah.
but just how this little adventure in building a podcast has kind of like highlighted what everyone's good at in life. Like, Chris came with, like, I want to talk about the PGA Tour because people want to know what's going on and get a younger perspective, kind of what the situation is with the CBS,
Yeah.
like, time for new blood. Like, we got to market golf to millennials because it's transforming. And seeing what he pulls into the conversation about, like, course knowledge and, like, history. And then Cody, he's very much about the local scene and, like, telling
Yeah.
the story of the local golf professionals that we are lucky to have good relationships with, and, like, hopefully we'll be some of the champions of the brand. And then my role with my technology background, like, helping them, like, give them the tools to, like, help grow. It's kind of cool how it's, like, come together.
And that whenever you're creating your team, whenever you're creating your pod, whenever you're doing anything, it's about putting those different pieces together and having those differentiating skill sets to make it succeed.
absolutely.
We've learned the same thing with our team, right? We all need to have our own niches and understand what's going on, and then that's how we succeed together. So
Absolutely.
I like that. Let's talk golf though, because I don't get the opportunity on this pod to talk golf a lot. We talk
That's what you
business,
brought us
real
for.
estate, we talk all this other stuff. But I'm a huge golfer. Have been for years. Follow golf in multiple golf pools a year, so I follow all the stats and
Okay.
everything going on. What does the PGA Tour have to do from the perspective to then attract these millennials? If Peter Costas and Gary McCord are getting canned and they have a contract up in 2 years where they can take PGA Tour events anywhere. They could take it to Facebook Live if they wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
They can take it anywhere
They're
at that
trying.
point in time, and I think they're going to
You're
go.
gonna
They
see
could
it.
they could take it to a subscription platform. They can take golf anywhere in 2 years. what do they need to do from your guys' perspective to execute that? What do they got to do to generate the younger crowd, us, that gets busy and life hits you, to get out golfing again? Because you're right, every single year at a course, the membership goes down because people are getting older, and it's the way it is.
Yeah.
I'll take this.
that?
Yeah, I like
opinion
this.
on
Yeah.
something, but-
First, I am, as much as I am a huge fan of the PGA Tour, I'm also extremely critical of them. There's many things that could be done, and I mean,
Totally.
the way that they speak about these players, like, oh, geez, it was hard for him. I mean, it's not hard. He's still walking away with a check for $500,000.
Yeah.
But like, when it comes to getting millennials to play, like, talk about taking it to like a streaming service. As much as I would like that from a
I'd
person
like to pay $5.99 and get Ultimate Golf.
Yeah.
But
you know what? You know what golf is? Golf is not something that people are, for the most part, reaching out to watch. They're not putting in the effort. It's like baseball. It's background noise. And until maybe Sunday on the back nine, people will watch. But, I mean, Tom and I were talking about this yesterday. I mean, if you want to watch Thursday through Sunday, that's like 40 hours of coverage.
You know, when I was just listening to Gary talk about getting fired on the radio, and he said something that resonated with me that I was going to bring up. He said, listen, the demographic of golfers is people that live busy lives. They're living successful, busy lives. They're getting out there, but they don't have time for all of the other stuff.
No.
Right? They're busy. Right? They're running families. They're running businesses. They're out there.
Time blocks.
Time
That's
blocks.
all you have are
Right?
time blocks.
So because of that, even with golf on TV, when he was saying that they're getting 1.8 ratings unless Tiger's in contention, right? They're not getting the numbers because everybody's busy, and they have to now attract and build the brand of some of these players up to try to then get the attention again like Tiger got, which they can't do right now because nobody is stepping above.
I don't know if it's so much the PGA Tour's responsibility to build up the brands, because you know what, like the brand of the individual, because the players nowadays are so focused on building up their brand. Like, it's kind of the demise of golf in a way, like, because they're boring. You know, they can't say those things because they.
You want to talk about Koepka? You want to talk about?
I'm a Koepka fan.
Listen, we all are. He is. I was at the British Open this year. I was at the PGA Championship this year.
Great.
I watched him both times, and I watched him walking down the fairway. I believe it was on 16 at the PGA Championship. Dustin had just come through and hit it over and came back, and he was closing the gap, and he walks down the fairway. He's just strolling back and forth like. Steel eyes going, and he goes and cleans it up and wins this thing.
Unflappable.
He's unflappable. But the Golf Robot 2000, as some social media people will call him, when he starts talking afterwards, he's not exciting.
No.
Right?
But how many guys are?
No, I'm not saying
Like,
that.
it's
I'm not
shocking.
saying that. But the fist pumps that Tiger put out early on built up this.
Changed the game.
He changed everything.
Yeah.
And now we're waiting for the fist pumps from a Rory or a Koepka that are so electrifying that you just resonate with the person. And that's why people still tune into Tiger, because they're waiting for the fist pump. And when the moment comes, he lets it out.
Yeah.
And it's epic every single time. I don't know if he practices them in the mirror or but they are epic.
Yeah.
He
gives the people what they want.
That's why everyone resonated with him, and that's why. But now you're right. I mean, Rory started a podcast. I don't remember the name.
Carson Daly.
With Carson, Rory and Carson. Yes, they're active on social, but to a certain extent, they don't have the same pull as Tiger did.
I mean, sorry, Tom. Go ahead.
That's okay. Just a couple thoughts. Like, I always like to think of golf in a transition phase, right? Social media, if you go on there and you look at the golf content and the people engaging, there's a ton of people like hungry for it, but nobody in the millennial age range has got a golf subscription channel, or maybe even cable at this point, right?
Exactly.
Everyone that's young, I have 13 nieces and nephews, and their first reaction is YouTube in the morning, right? I'm going to YouTube, I'm going to see what's happening there, and I find it interesting because YouTube actually sponsored the NBA Finals, so they're making this big push.
The MLB Finals too. They got the World Series.
Wow.
YouTube TV is on World Series right now. So they're getting into
That's
the
huge.
And then when you come back to time blocks, it's like, obviously Tiger is, anybody will follow Tiger. Like the media is, when Tiger's playing, we're going to give him 90% of the coverage. And it's like, how do you take these personal brands that exist on Instagram and all these platforms, and then maybe like, we're just going to broadcast Brooks's round, right? And like, there's a channel on the PGA that like you can follow and tune in and watch Brooks for this, right? Because that, like, we're device first, mobile first economy, right? Like that's, Google has ranked mobile first as the most important. Like
they're trying that though, like, because isn't the players this year they're going to broadcast, or they're going to broadcast every shot, which is the one
doing that with all the majors. They want excuse me, extended coverage throughout, like where basically, and this is a big issue for the guys working the TV channel, like the broadcast, like they want to go like 8 straight hours. That's a lot of time to fill. Like it's a lot of things to talk about.
It's a lot of stats you got to dig
It's
up.
a lot of mistakes coming up.
Yeah.
Like there's no way you're going to be sharp for all of that. And
Yeah.
that's a heavy amount of pressure on that. I mean,
I think I like it because what Tom was saying is, if I could tune in, I still follow Jordan Spieth. I like him. I think he's resonated. I when we went, I followed him.
Like him.
He does have a little bit of that aura around him when he's walking at the British. I remember this year he was walking down to, I think it was the 5th or 6th hole by the ocean, and he was walking. He was on a mission. He was playing well that day. He got a couple eagles. He went on a birdie run, and the crowd around him was kind of the same feel that Tiger had. So I like. But if I could go on social media, if I could go on a channel and just watch Jordan's round, Tiger's round, sometimes Rory's round, I would do that. I don't necessarily have to see all the coverage. Sometimes I am only watching what my one player is doing. So I like where they're going. I think it's going to be a challenge to logistically to execute. But I like that, and then that interests me for 2 years from now when this contract comes up again. Because does YouTube pick it up? Is YouTube going to have at least somewhat exclusive coverage for the 5 years after that to put out some of these other pieces of content? Is Facebook going to get it, or are they going to do their own streaming service, or are they going to go back to NBC, CBS?
It's going to be back to a major broadcast channel. Like it's going to happen. There's too much money there to be passed up on. And the thing is with that as well, like, I mean, you want it to be on TV. I mean, the older generation still has cable TV. Like, I mean, we have cable in my house, but like, I don't actually, I can't tell you the last time I watched TV other than watching golf like once on this weekend. And before that, I don't know.
I'm waiting. I like the disruptor for cable. The end of cable is when there is a Netflix for sports. But the problem with that is it's game over. Like cable's when there's a Netflix for sports right now. The only reason we carry cable, I think the younger generation carry cable, is for Hockey Night in Canada, golf, MLB. Like every single major is sports packages.
Well, I'm not sure if they have this here, but I know in Australia they have KO Sports, and it's like $6 a month.
Yeah,
and
they don't have that here yet.
You can just pick anything you want to watch. If it's on, boom.
No.
It is actually, it's a game changer.
You still need basic cable here, and I think that the game changer is when that Netflix for sports comes. It's going to be a little bit of luck because it's going to be a lot of the contracts coming up all at once. So at the end of the day, if Rogers has hockey for the next 5 years and golf ends in 2 years, it's going to be someone who comes in, purchases those rights, and then goes one to the next. And at that point in time, when I have the Netflix for sports, and I can see NFL on Sundays, and I can watch my hockey team with no restrictions on Tuesdays.
Right.
At the end of the day, it's over. We're buying that subscription. That's happening.
Everyone will,
and that's so. I think that obviously the disruptor is coming now. It's just a matter of who harnesses the money,
right,
and the time and dedication that's going to go into building that brand or that product, and then pushing it out. Golf might be. I think that 2 years from now might be too early for that, but who knows? Maybe they are going to take it a step out.
It'll be interesting to see what happens with that. I mean, I think that they will offer a streaming service through whatever broadcast channel they pick, but
so then how does so if Peter and Gary McCord's gone, what do they have to do on the broadcast to make it more exciting? how can we make it not? How can we, as a golfer, when you watch TV golfing, you can feel the shot.
Yeah.
So you can imagine yourself hitting the shot like any sport, and obviously someone coming down the stretch and you knowing what the nerves are of playing in a tournament. You can kind of feel that and you resonate right to them. We enjoy watching golf. But for the non-golfer or the weekend warrior, how do you make golf not like watching paint dry? Because for a lot of people, that's what golf on TV is. It's the background noise you said.
It's interest though in this game. I think they're doing a better job on like for the golf that we do watch. I mean, if you look at even the advancements in shot tracer, that's
that's
massive.
huge. Yeah, that's
Show
huge.
me every single shot with shot tracer. I want to know exactly.
I don't want to
how
see
they're
the.
moving
I don't want to see the aerial view anymore.
I am done with that aerial view.
Yeah, the blimp can go land somewhere else. I want to see the shot tracer on every shot.
Yeah.
I want to know if they're hitting a stinger or if they're hitting a high draw.
I want to see exactly what that ball is doing.
Yeah.
And I think that's something.
I want the spin rate. I want everything.
Yeah.
But maybe that takes it a little bit beyond.
I mean, putting a TrackMan on every single camera is. I mean, I guess money is no object to them, but I mean that would be quite the thing to have.
What I would like to see, this is definitely...
Okay, so one. Shot tracer on every shot. PGA Tour is listening in any way.
Yeah.
We want a shot tracer on every shot.
Show me the green as well.
Yeah. And I have a challenge for some PGA Tour player. I don't know how this would work, but I'd like them to get their own production team to follow them around. Like Rory, he's now got a podcast. Be like, hey, camera team, we're mic'd up for like the Rory YouTube channel. You're gonna get exclusive access to watching me behind the scenes, like when I'm talking to my caddy.
Yeah.
You're gonna get all that.
Okay, so live mic. So PGA
It
Tour
needs to be mic'd up.
Mic'd up. So even now in football, you have live mic. CFL's got live mic. NFL's got live mics. I like it because if I could listen to them stepping off the yardage, coming back and naming yardages to a half yardage, how they're picking their club, where the wind's come. If we could hear all of that, that would be awesome.
Yeah.
Look at the years of watching Phil Mickelson.
Yeah.
You can hear him yammering with bones forever and ever. Like,
I like it.
give me that. I want to hear
shot
what you're
tracer
doing.
and live mics. Okay, we got that. I love it.
Yeah.
And look how much like Jordan Spieth's relationship with his caddy is like focused on, and how like
I love it.
he's always getting grilled. They're like it's just interesting. Obviously, these are elite athletes, and like for someone that's sitting on their couch that's gonna go play weekend warrior golf, like knowing. Just getting a glimpse into like how these guys handle adversity, and like you're like, oh, okay, like I didn't. That's just
even
cool.
just a caddy saying, "Listen, just picture the shot.
Yeah.
See the tower in the distance. Picture the shot.
Yeah.
Smooth swing." And then that was the last swing thought. They walk away and you watch what happens. Like I would love to hear that as a golfer.
Yeah.
And I think for the weekend warrior, it could also teach them a thing or two.
Yeah.
About what they're gonna do when they go, why they're, how they hit a draw, how to hit a cut, why it happens. Because sometimes that's half the battle.
Yeah.
Well, especially listening to guys like you said, for the weekend warrior. And this is something that goes back where I'm critical of the tour, but not the tour, the players in it at times, but like watching Spieth, his interaction with Greller, like this kid is obsessed with golf. He wants to know what the yardage is. He wants to know what he can and cannot do.
And he wants to win.
Yeah, I mean, but he's gone through some major struggles lately, and you still see him grinding because he's obsessed with the game, the swing, everything. But you see guys, as we go back to talking about personal brands, that don't even really like golf. It's a job. Like Koepka doesn't play when he's not on tour.
But how much of that was his
Bryson.
knee this year?
No, man.
No.
Okay. He says when he's done, he goes to his boat. He's stated before it. When you see me playing golf, it's on when I'm on TV. Like, that's it. DeChambeau even said this year, he's like, I don't actually enjoy playing golf. He's like, I just do it because I can make my money. But like, okay, now we've segued into this. Like, now you see Tiger win his 82nd, tied most all time. I've been a Tiger fan my whole life. I remember watching in 96.
I had the Nike sticks, boys.
We've watched the majority of his 82 wins, and this is a man that is obsessed with golf. I want you to show me guys that you know are obsessed with the game. Like, even this past year at the Scottish Open, when Ricky and Jordan went and played, you know what's the best part of that week? The fact that when the event wasn't on, they were out playing North Barrington.
Yeah.
They just wanted to see the golf course because they're so fascinated with architecture and the game. Great.
Yeah.
Show me those guys.
Yeah.
I don't want the emotionless guys out there that are just out there for a paycheck. Yeah, okay, I know that sometimes you have to because they're going to be moving up the leaderboard, but you know who's interested in the game, and the announcers do too.
Okay, so if we were to take Shot Tracer and then number 2 would be live mics. If I was to say number 3 is, I think that there's a strong contingent of people that don't like when the broadcasts focus on one person, aka Tiger. There's a lot of people who don't like when the whole broadcast the entire day is Tiger, even though the other side of the spectrum only wants Tiger.
Yeah.
Right? But at the same time, I think what they need to do is let's say, okay, we're not going to focus on one person, but we are going to focus on the personalities and the brands that are building up. That the PGA Tour can help build personal brands.
Definitely.
Just as much as the players, it'll be mandated that they have to be on social media, they got to be building their own brands. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what business is out there. People are still going to trust the people more. People are going to go and see Ricky on and putting on an Instagram post and resonate with that. They're going to tune in to see how he's doing when he's in contention. Same thing with Jordan. Same thing with Rory. Same thing for Koepka. Tiger, as always. But then there's the kind of the next rank of players where that still happens. Gary Woodland could do it, right?
Yeah.
You could have Adam Scott go a little bit more in depth and get that out there. They do need to maintain their private lives, but at the same time, their personal brand and the aura that the fans that are going to feel watching them pays their paychecks.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? So both, if we were to say number 3, PGA Tour has to focus on the personalities within golf, whoever that is.
Yeah, I think it's just opening up those channels to like we all like to see Tiger, but maybe you're a betting person and you want to like actually go out and bet on like Bet365, but like you can't watch Colin Morikawa and like actually see how he's playing as a golfer, and like you just get to see the end of his round and maybe a 72 that has like just a couple missed putts, and you're like, this guy's on fire. Like,
You'll never see Morikawa unless he's in contention.
Right.
Even though he's going to be huge.
He's going to be huge. Unfortunately, the class that came out this
I got him
past
in my
year
pool
is-
this year, so I'm
Yeah.
feeling
Great
trendy
pick.
on him. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean this class came out last year. I mean, that's good for golf.
Yeah.
Matt Wolff, great for golf. Colin Morikawa, stunning. Hovland, stunning players. Like, I love watching Matthew Wolff purely because of that move. That's another thing. If you want to go back to why people aren't playing, come on, like, they've watched Adam Scott and Tiger all these years and these
They try to
perfect golf
duplicate it.
swings.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Yeah.
Show me something weird.
Well,
Get into it.
listen, I was one of those guys. I have no problem saying, and anyone who's golfed with me back in the day would have known, I was chasing a perfect swing.
We all
When
were. Still are.
Well, okay, but now, ever since I've just embraced my move,
Yeah.
ever since I've embraced with a couple tweaks my move, my game, I play less, I'm better.
Yeah.
And that's a combination of wisdom. As you get older, you just get better. You read greens better, you putt better, you understand yourself better. But secondly, because I'm not chasing perfection anymore. I'm not being technical. I'm just going out and playing. And I'm an 8 handicap player. I am
Solid.
not. I am not the best player out there, but if I was to say anything, focus on your move, take your move to the next level, work on it, be consistent with it, and Wolff is an example.
Yeah, and I find it very interesting that like, so take Matthew Wolff, like online he's like pretty popular. Like you got Genghis and like all these channels like are constantly focusing on like, hey, look at Matthew Wolff, and it's like, okay, there's this demand for Matthew Wolff online. Like, where is it to be able to go follow him while he's playing golf, right? Other than just looking at the scores as they come in on Score mobile app, right? Like, I want...
And I can only stare at the PGA Tour app so long and look at their shot by shot before you want to watch them.
Yeah.
And again, right? So number 3, the PGA Tour has to focus on the personalities and the brands. They have to find a way to have Matthew Wolff have 3 shots of broadcast.
Yeah.
Whether he's plus 12 or he's in contention, you have to find a way to show the excitement of him hitting a shot or live mic or something of him so that people can connect with him. Because one day he's going to be huge.
Yeah.
Do you think though that like, and I ask you now, do you think that like revamping the PGA Tour and making all these changes is going to get people to play more golf?
Well,
like
no,
the
I was
average?
going to bring that up. So I did applaud. I don't remember exactly. It was either PGA of America or GA that was putting out the commercials of playing 9 holes this year.
Mm-hmm.
It was one of those two, and they were saying go out and play 9. And I applauded that because I do think the future of the game is going to be quicker.
Yeah.
I don't know necessarily if it's pace of play, because it doesn't matter what public course you go to, the pace of play isn't going to come down. You can give everyone lasers, you can give everyone everything. It's still going in the bush. We still got to go find it. We got to enjoy the game with friends and the camaraderie. But playing 9, I think, is something that you can get up early in the morning, play 9, go to work.
Oh,
You can do your full day. You can go to the course. You can hit a couple balls in the range, play 9, go home. And I applauded them for that, because I do think that allows us to, if courses stop pushing 18 and offering a good enough rate for 9,
Right.
that people can go out and enjoy the game, you're going to see more people play.
Definitely.
The problem I find, though, with a lot of courses is I find that 9 rate is too escalated.
Yeah.
It's escalated above 50% when I would play 18, where people then are like, oh, no, it doesn't make sense for me just to play 9. I'm going to play 18. I think that's a failure on the pricing strategy that these courses are implementing, because if I want to go out and play and I'm playing 9 and I have between 3 to 4 hours, if it's too close to the 18 price, I'm going to try to fit in 18.
Right.
Definitely.
And they do it economically. I get why they do it, but they have to change their mindset to say, you know what, our client base, our customer base understands that they need to get off the course quicker. Let's think about things like having the cart, guy or girl on the course. We're gonna sell them some drinks. We're gonna upsell them in some ways.
Yeah.
We're with 9, we can have a cheaper rate, but include a little bit of range for a little extra for 5. Like, find ways
You
to
know what you need to find?
fluctuate that.
Club rentals in there. There's a lot of people that just want to go
Okay,
play
so
that don't
9
have clubs.
9 holes with club rentals.
You know how much a club rental is most of the time?
Oh,
It's
and not
almost
only-
the same
Yeah.
price as the green fee.
And not only that, they don't, like, all these courses get their promo clubs. All the courses have to do is start to make the deals with the club manufacturers and say, listen, every single person that goes on our course that doesn't have clubs, we're giving them the clubs to use for free, and they're going to experience your clubs.
Yeah.
So when they want to go buy clubs, now they go buy TaylorMade
Right.
or Callaway. But you guys have to promo those clubs to us so that we can actually offer them for free.
That's interesting.
Why don't they do that? And again, it comes back to value, right?
Yeah.
My motto is value always equals value, and that's not going to change.
Yeah.
And in the golf industry, if these golf courses could start presenting the value in a way where it's not so much money where people don't get the same back,
Yeah.
more people will play.
Right. And even we've been talking with golf clubs about, because like they're dead parts of the day for them, and like, what about experimenting with the 5-ball, right? Like a 5-ball 9, where okay, now if you have 5 people out here, like, golf is limited by how many people can actually play and like how much time there is and how many, with this, the gap between sending them out, right? So that if you could add an extra person, give them a little less of a deal so they're not paying 75% of 18.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to, like, the first clubs that do that, because we always have 5 or 6, and then it's like, okay, now we got to get 2 tee times, and then one has 3 and the other one has 3. Whereas, like, let us just go out together, and if we're on time, like,
I love it.
We're
But
all-
here's another
We've
one
always
for
been on time.
courses. How many people, guy or girl, have a significant other that doesn't play the game?
Yeah.
Oh,
And what happens when that significant other wants to come on the course and sit on the cart? They charge.
Yeah.
They charge the sitting fee on the cart. Why? Why not allow a wife or husband to come out, a significant other to come out and just enjoy walking the course, which is just a park anyways,
Yeah.
right? When I was at St. Andrews this year, when I went to and on Sunday it was closed for a park, and we could walk every hole in the course. It was honestly the coolest thing I'd ever seen.
That is cool.
golf
the
over
coolest
there
thing.
is a lot different than North America, though. Like, I mean, you grew up playing at the same golf course I did. You understand the membership.
Yeah.
Where, okay, let's say there was a 4-ball out there, and
But
someone's
why-
wife was out there walking around. You know, I know, you even know. That call is coming in from that group behind, going, "Hey, there's 5 out there.
Yeah.
We don't want them."
Again, that's those players that are making that call. Listen, how many people now take the speaker on the course,
Yeah.
right?
I haven't played around in golf without one in
Exactly.
8 years.
Okay, so now I know for a fact there's a group behind you also calling the clubhouse saying they're making too much noise.
Mm-hmm.
So listen, that we can't look at that anymore.
Yeah.
If I want my wife to come onto the course with me because she wants to walk and enjoy nature, and I'm allowed to go play and enjoy that time with her, then the courses should do that and accommodate that. And I
Then
think
this
there's
is the generational shift that's coming then.
but it's going to come.
Yep.
At the end of the day, the courses have to do that. Otherwise, we're going to see a mass closure of courses in Edmonton and throughout the world.
Which I think we're going to see regardless, and it's those who actually adapt and like understand where the world is going that like they're going to be the ones that are left, right? Like there's a transition.
I gotta say, like, I mean, playing golf in Sydney was interesting compared to here. It was very different in the sense that, I mean, I think these things were good for the game. The course that I used to play, and most courses in the area, when it comes to weekend play, they enforce you to play the social tees. Great. Shorter, not too short, but just keep it moving. Let's get you away from the tips. You know what? Sorry, bud. You're not actually that good. Let's put you up front a bit. Let's make the game a little more fun, and let's try and bring you back out next time because you finally put up a good number. Those you were playing from the tees that you should be playing at.
Listen.
Great. And then things like, you know, we used to go and play this one course that's right on the edge of the sea. Shorter course. Like 4 par 4s, the rest are par 3s. Par's irrelevant. Play good golf. Yeah. But then you finish on a Sunday afternoon, and on their patio, they got a live band, and you got like Sunday
experience, the
price
value
for drinks.
Yeah.
Show me something.
Yeah, and courses here just don't present that value. Secondly,
never have.
With our short season, they overcharge for the value they're providing. So a lot of people are leaving the game here.
Oh yeah.
And it's USGA, it's RNA, is the PGA. It's their jobs to present golf exciting, which is then doing those things we talked about, creating the personalities, presenting us the broadcast that's fun and exciting to watch.
Yeah.
In combination with courses starting to make those changes, because again, I want to be able to take my significant other out. People should be able to experience a game without spending $50 on club rentals. And secondly, 9 holes is an easy way to play the game in a good amount of time, but don't overcharge for it in comparison to 18, where people are always stretching themselves to play 18. Because it's just not the same afterwards.
And we talk about experience, and you look at a place like Top Golf, which it's not cheap to go to Top Golf, but like
people want to go.
People want to go do that because of the experience of like, hey, now we're having fun. Like I can bring our group of people. We're gonna have food. We're gonna have drinks, and like we're gonna have a bunch of laughs. And there's music. Like that's.
I love it.
And people are willing to pay $50 for it. Like the clubs are there, and they aren't even good clubs, right?
Fuck, the live band is genius too. Because
we got trapped there because you see it as you're walking off, and you're like,
yeah,
I'm definitely gonna eat and have a couple drinks here.
I'm
like,
going for nachos. I'm gonna have
perfect.
a drink, and I'm gonna listen. Like that is the value they're looking for. And you could do a 9 holes with 3 rentals. Yeah. And have a live band, and people stay afterwards, and it becomes an experience, and the value is back into golf.
Make your money outside of the green fee in your food and beverage. It's not that difficult.
Fuck,
it's difficult
it.
with the older generation. It's not with ours, to be fair, because like if you look at the millennial generation, how many people? I mean, this is coming from maybe an Australian perspective, but like I know a lot of people that would far rather spend their money on a night out than an experience during the day. But if you can tie in both, well, then you've already got it. You've already won. You know that this is where it's heading.
Yeah.
So,
well, and it's the avocado toast theory too. Us millennials, we will spend our money on things like that for the experience. In comparison to the older generation that brings a packed lunch to the course. There's a difference between the two.
Exactly.
And at the end of the day, golf's still got to. They have to find a way to survive.
Yeah.
They have to. They have to.
They will.
We love the game too much. I think there's still too many people that love the game, but there's a lot of real estate. It's like car dealerships.
Yeah.
You have a lot of real estate and a lot of disruptors. And the disruptors are coming in to take people to other sports. And golf's got to find a way to utilize that real estate appropriately to succeed.
Yeah, I completely agree. And you can see that they're heading in the right way. Like, even the PGA Tour trying to do this live under par campaign. Not a huge fan of it, but you know what? They're really trying. You can see that they're putting in the effort.
Yeah.
Just
Drive, Chip, and Putt is my favorite.
Yeah.
I watch now best week of the year, Masters, favorite week of the year. Of course. I now watch on Sundays, and I'm gonna watch for the ladies amateur too. Like I get more Masters now, which is the coolest thing ever.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna watch it all.
Yeah. Love the Drive, Chip.
The ladies game is what needs to be shown more. That is something that's more relatable as well to help grow the game. The PGA Tour is not relatable to the average golfer. They should put an average golfer out there every single round.
And just show the score at the bottom.
Exactly.
Yeah, they go out last of the day.
Yeah.
Put out like a 5 handicap. I don't care. Just see.
Yeah.
Just see how he shoots 95 out there.
95, 110. Like,
exactly.
You're right. Watching, I hadn't gone to many PGA Tour events until this year when I went to the PGA and the British Open. So it was a bucket list year.
Cool.
I got to experience both of those. Both of them very unique. PGA was in New York area, so rowdy crowd, exciting. People are getting
rowdiest crowd.
It was super rowdy. Like it was. So it was unique. That was the first one we went to, and we're like, "Holy, is this what golf is like?" Like thousands of people just chanting Tiger and running after Tiger, and we're like, "Okay, I saw him. That's good."
Yeah.
We're like, because it was mayhem.
Yeah.
Then we go to British Open, a little bit more controlled. We enjoyed the British a lot. It was controlled. It was respectful. It was still a lot of cheering, a lot of roars, but really, really cool. But different was it was a harder walk, right? All the hills were the hills. You're walking the dunes in between. You're going up and down.
And it's
harder
wet.
walk. It was. We got lucky. It wasn't too bad.
Yeah.
But it was. We did get rain a little bit one day. But overall, we had a good experience there. And a different feel, but both, again, you're watching these guys play, you're watching these guys hit. They're in a different world.
Yeah. Sure. What did you feel about? Like, I'm not sure if you watched the broadcast. Seeing Royal Portrush in person to on TV, is it actually that drastic? Like everybody that I, obviously listened to or spoke to about it that went said it's like seeing Augusta. Like it shows nothing.
So listen, there's when it was more at the old course. So at Portrush, walking it, there was drastic changes. I haven't been to Augusta, so I can't relate, but I would guess it's not as much as Augusta. In comparison, when we went to the old course and walked it on Sunday as the park, I took some pictures, and you look in the pictures now, and it's like, oh, that's like a course here, and it is not.
No.
Like we're talking mounds this high, straight off, tightly mown, and we're walking it on a park day on a Sunday, and it was like just thinking about playing it. Hope I get a chance to one day, but thinking about playing it, looking at it, it was special. It was crazy. Portrush wasn't. I didn't think it was as crazy. There was a couple holes where the elevation change was huge. First hole, for example, they're hitting into the fairway, then hitting up the hill. And I don't know if it's the first hole for the regular members, but the way they were playing it, the first hole.
Yeah, they switched
I think they changed it. Yeah. So it was a huge elevation change. There was a couple going downhill. The 1, 5, or 6 where they're going towards the ocean.
6.
They were trying to drive the green.
Yeah.
Amazing. We stood there for a while looking out at the ocean. That's where I got Spieth before he was on his run, and then we followed Spieth for a couple holes. It was amazing, but watching them drive that green and go for it, and then hitting those approach shots on that hole was crazy. So watching golf in person was great. Watching it on TV for me is still awesome, because when you're watching in person, you're following one group, or you're following groups come through a hole. But you're not with every person making those moves to move up the leaderboard. So you're seeing the leaderboards change, but you can't see all those shots.
Right.
On TV you do, so the excitement builds as you see Koepka birdieing and then Tiger birdieing, and then you're going through the process. So it was a combination of, it was exciting, it was good to see, but watching on TV is still good.
Yeah.
Still enjoyed it.
Exactly.
Real life golf experience. I've been to the Waste Management Open a few times, and that 16th hole, like, I like that atmosphere.
So why don't they do that at every single, well, not every tournament, but why don't they turn golf into a stadium sport? The reason you go to hockey, the reason you go to NFL is it's crazy, it's exciting, you feel the emotion.
Yeah. Golf,
you feel it with the roars, but not as much when it's a stadium.
Yeah, like.
So why?
I can answer that.
Okay. Logistics. Well, they.
That's infrastructure on the golf course.
But okay,
and
so
it's the cost. I mean, you got to think these members, like.
Yeah.
A lot of these events, like if you look at the Memorial, I mean that course basically shuts down for 2 months a year.
Yeah.
For a week of play.
Yeah.
And I mean, yeah, they keep that up at TPC the whole year.
No, they don't.
I thought they did take it down now.
They did. In
or
Scottsdale, they take it down.
I thought they kept it up.
I played it. It was down, but then it goes up, and like.
I thought they kept it up.
Talk about energy, like 220,000 people in like a golf course, and that's a millennial city. Like there's
Yeah.
so many young college people that like, again, it comes back to the experience. Like they would love to sit around like picking bets on who's gonna miss the green, and if you lose, like you're buying drinks.
Absolutely.
Like they love that energy, and it's pretty cool to see.
I see. I get the logistics. I get that part. I get that the course gets damaged. They get compensated for that.
Yeah.
But the thing is like, for example, the infrastructure that was at the PGA this year was insane.
Yeah,
That's a
Throughout-
major, though.
True, it was a major, but
infrastructure is insane.
okay, it was insane. Why didn't they close off? Why didn't they have the 17th hole fully with
Yeah.
stands all the way around? So the thing is, maybe there wasn't the space, but I was there. There was definitely. Again, I'm not an engineer, but there was definitely space they could have done at least a C or most of it.
Mhm.
yeah,
And then sold tickets as that stadium feel, and then the millennials come.
yeah. Because they're used to sitting in a seat at any event, concert, whatever. And
Yeah.
like baseball, I'm hanging with my friends, and we get to watch people try and make hole-in-ones all day. Or
And,
driving-
and there was one that day, and it was we were there when the hole in one. The whole course was shaking when the hole in one
Exactly.
went in. So if that was happening, you had the course. That experience is something people aren't going to forget.
No.
They're going to go major to major to be in that stadium every year and experience that chance and that feeling. And like I keep saying, right, at the end of the day, golf, any single sports, any brand out there, value equals value, and they have to provide the experience.
Yeah.
And if they're not, you won't see the success you're looking
Yeah.
for.
Well, you are already seeing that, like within the PGA Tour. I mean, look, if you just talked about the infrastructure in majors, the amount of effort and manpower and production that's involved in a major compared to a regular event now, it pales in comparison. Like, and this is another reason why you're seeing the demise of the tour, where those events that, I mean, look at Tiger. I mean, he plays a shorter schedule, but like other guys are doing that now. And they're not playing the
Every
John
event.
Deere Classic or,
Yeah.
you know, the RBC Heritage. And it's like, those used to be really good events for the tour. You need to make those exciting again. It was
How much
great
of
watching
that
Tiger
is because of
dominate.
their dumb wraparound season, though? Listen, I'm not.
Even with the old schedule, it wasn't that much different.
So I say dumb. I'm
I don't
being
like it
harsh.
either. I'm critical of it as well.
I'm critical of it for one reason: is when the hockey season starts, we wait for it for 2 months until it starts.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's off for a whole. So we're waiting for it. We're excited for it. It renews your excitement in hockey. Same with NFL. Same with CFL. Same with every major sport. MLB. They got a ton of games every day, but yet at the end, when the season's starting again, we're excited for it. With PGA now, with every single weekend, minus some near Christmas, minus a couple breaks, they may be fatiguing themselves.
Yeah.
They may be fatiguing themselves, and they're wondering why the experience of the broadcast isn't great all year round, and why they're not getting the rating, because they're fatiguing themselves in comparison to taking from the end of the playoffs until January 1st off again.
Yeah.
Like it used to.
And
Start
like it
in
used to
Hawaii,
be,
Let's go.
start in Hawaii, let's go. There's winners now that don't even go to Hawaii
Yeah.
because they're planning out their season throughout the entire year.
Right.
Every single person that wins the year should be roaring for Hawaii with a bang
Yeah.
for the Tournament of Champions. Let's go.
Right. But that also, like, the global aspect of
I was
golf
just
now
about
is
to
like
say.
Tiger's now in Japan, right? So like,
They're on this Asian swing.
but I think this also creates the opportunity. Like the NBA has the summer league, right? Like they it's under the same brand, but they've created a totally different product, which is like one thing we always are talking about is like the guys that are up and coming, and like should Tony Romo get a spot over like some guy that's paid 20 grand to keep
I think.
school?
Well, I think they were pushing the numbers. I think there's still limitations. I think if that's the case, and we want to go to Japan, and we want to, I think that they could still have a 2-month break.
Yeah.
And then get rid of a couple of the subsidiary events, which unfortunately, just like any sport and business, is a byproduct of getting canceled.
Yeah.
And then still go to the Japan for the Zozo, still go to Shanghai for the WGC. You can find ways to make that happen, or you start taking anything after. So like the Hero, everyone for the Hero Challenge is going to get excited. It's not a PGA Tour event,
And
Right.
you know
so
what,
have a
that's-
couple of those afterwards.
Yeah.
You can fit that in any time. Like
Yeah.
we were just talking on our last pod, like even with this skins game that just happened, you need that. You need more
Yes.
of that. Remember the Tellus skins again, like the World
Yes.
skins again? Those were great.
The one that was in Banff when
Yeah.
Jack Nicklaus came, right?
They had
Like,
it at Predator. They had it at Banff. They did it out in Victoria the one time. When John Daly and Fred Couples were out there like chirping each other. Yeah, give me that. Get rid of the Wednesday Pro-Am or Tuesday Pro-Am and
Show
do a
me
skins game. And
Live
mic,
mic.
yeah,
Yeah.
mic it up.
There's number
That's
4.
what I want to, exactly.
There's number 4. Live
Full
mic.
circle. There
No
we go.
Pro-Am, but because the Pro-Am brings them money, right? At the end of the day, it's
Yeah.
a spot. But then,
They're
but then,
entitled to do, like, they're forced to do it. Like,
Yeah,
it's part of the contract.
well,
but-
let's say they leave the Pro-Am. Well, then the first people out or the last people out of the day is Tiger and Rory going to play a live mic skins on
Yeah.
Wednesday at the AT&T Pebble Beach.
I'm
Like,
going to watch.
You're gonna watch it
For sure.
and then you come in on a Wednesday and you're excited for the week.
Right.
Mhm.
So there's number 4.
And
If
then-
PGA Tour is watching,
Yeah.
number 4.
And then as they talk about mic'd up, they're talking about the course while they're doing their skins game. Now you have a little more depth to like watch it for the whole weekend. Or when you do tune in and catch what you catch, you'll be like, okay, I gotta remember.
It builds
Yeah.
those
Yeah.
personal brands.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It
That's all
makes
it ever
you
is.
connect. It's authentic because they're live mic. They're talking just like they would. They're trash talking a little bit. They're talking to the caddies. They're having fun. It makes them relatable.
Yeah.
And
Finally.
that's the difference.
I think number 5 should be more drones because I know at the U.S. Open they were using the drones off the side of Pebble,
And it was great.
and that, like you were saying,
Yeah.
you don't realize what these mounds actually look like because like we're used to just flat camera level, and then like I've noticed flying drones, you get it up 30 feet,
Yep.
like in that little zone that you don't normally see, and it starts to show things like the shadows carrying longer, and you're like, well, there's depth to this. And I think Pebble, like
Pebble was perfect for
you
it.
could tell because they had that one on the
Yeah, I totally agree, and I think so. Listen, I didn't know the blimp was so loud. When you're there, the Goodyear blimp makes noise. Like you can hear when it's above your head, and that was definitely interesting when we were at the PGA. I definitely think they could go to more drones. Obviously, there's safety things with all the spectators that are there, but at the end of the day, they definitely could show different. I think though, I still think the shot tracer is more important,
yeah.
right? Or I mean, you
It
could.
is, in my opinion, like
I mean,
between mic'd up and showing the shot tracer, like I just want to see what you're doing. Like you put it on a guy like Bubba, that's the best thing to watch.
he hit a shot. I saw it on the
Sixth?
Golf Channel, the 6th, where he went through the trees. And I didn't even read the article. I just looked at the picture, and I'm like, I love Bubba.
Yeah.
Like you can just see that, and you're like, you know what? There's an artist playing the game. He's different. You can relate to him. He's authentic. He goes and does social media, and there's someone that I want to see him make that shot in the middle of the day. I don't want to see the replay of it afterwards. So how does the broadcast make it so that those characters and those personal brands are getting represented, and you're not just showing one guy?
Yeah.
I'm not even a Bubba fan.
But that was
And
cool.
if you have never been to a PGA event, I would just say, go and watch Bubba.
Yeah.
That'll get you in golf. Like,
Yeah. Which would be interesting, like from a live angle now, like at the Masters, I forget who was in contention against Tiger, but they
Koepka.
showed,
It was Koepka.
was it?
Mhm.
Who's the
And
guy
just-
that got stuck in the trees though on that par 5? And then he hit it out of the thing into the water.
I don't
Who's
remember.
Oosthuizen, yeah. Louis, like, they showed, like, all of the shots except for the one shot, like, one of his shots that was the second shot on that par 5 that put him in the pine straw. And it's like, it'd be crazy if they could go live and say, hey, Louis now in trouble. Like,
Even picture in
dude,
picture.
yeah.
So change it to picture in picture and
Yeah.
say, hey, Tiger's hitting here, but Louis is in the trees.
Yeah.
Just wanted you guys to take a look. The other one, actually, though, the commercial bypass that they had at the U.S. Open this year was also really cool.
And they did it at the Zozo. Like they did continued coverage even during commercials. There was the split screen. Perfect.
Yeah.
Just show me more. And you know what? It's not saying that sometimes I don't mind the commercial break. Yeah, I can jump on my phone, scroll a little bit. But like, just have it there, just in case. Like you never really know. Like, especially when it comes to Tiger Mania, you know you're going to see every one of his shots. But like, Matsuyama put up a hell of a week.
Yeah.
And
If it wasn't for
We
a
didn't
5-footer,
see
it would have
it.
been close.
yeah.
Yeah. it
And you
would-
know what? Like, we didn't get to see all of the shots. It was nice to see most of them, but Tiger took up most of the coverage,
Yeah,
as usual.
and I get it. Like, listen, I'm not complaining when I see lots of Tiger. I enjoy watching
love
Tiger. But at the same time, I recognize that if they don't build other personal brands, listen, at the end of the day, Tiger's on a lot of surgeries and a lot of if you want to see Tiger, you got to go see him in the next 5 years, maybe even less.
Yeah.
So
Make
if you want to see him in his prime, if you want to see him when he can win, you got to go see him in the next 5 years.
I think you might see something. I mean, if you watched his golf swing, you just say this week. I mean, but it also kind of had similarities last year as well when he was playing
smooth, clean.
It's compared to the old Tiger, it's so balanced. It's so much more sound. Like it doesn't have that aggression like it used to.
The violence, as they say.
Yeah, and it's. I mean,
the back-wrecking violence.
Even the way he hit the driver, you never saw a single recoil.
Yeah.
Most of his iron shots were just controlled. He didn't rip at anything. Like if he just plays like that, I mean, he is the best player in the world, maybe of all time, when it comes to course management. I mean, that guy can pick a game plan and go, "It's exactly what we're doing." He doesn't need to rip at anything.
No.
He knows exactly what. Even this past weekend, there was many pins that he could have been chasing, and he's like, "I'm just gonna put it in the middle, make my 4 next."
Mm-hmm.
He knows. I mean,
and everyone else
is in his bag.
No, but that's why he's got 82 wins.
Yeah, exactly.
That's not hard to. It's a combination of just the mind as well as the ability and the ability. I think they said on the radio today, and I do agree. Even when you watch the skins this week. You watch all those other guys hit. Rory's hitting, and it's just this draw. Matthew hits, and this is high draw. Tiger hit it this week, and they were just lasers.
Mm-hmm.
It was just a small, babyest fade that you've ever seen, and he was swinging. And like most people will say, you give Tiger a 5-iron and in, and you put him up against anyone in the world, and he's going to give him a run for their money.
Yeah.
I think the only thing that's hurt him, the thing that's hurt him is 4 and out. And if he controls that the next couple of years, we're gonna have some fun. But you're still looking for the injuries, and we can talk about Tiger on a whole show by itself.
That's
but
another show.
The end of the day, when you look at it, if you want to see Tiger, this next year is gonna be fun. I think.
Absolutely.
I think so.
If you want to go out, pick one of his favorite tournaments to go to, and if he's healthy, I think he's gonna give her a show.
I could see a major.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, if he plays as well as he did at Augusta this year, like he will win again.
I have a feeling he's going to build up for. He knows Augusta's probably his best chance every year.
Yeah.
He's still, even though it's longer, he still knows it's his best chance. I'm speculating, but I'm going to speculate he's going to try to go back to back. Like I know. Like unless there's an injury.
That's even speculation.
Yeah, that's exactly what he's doing.
I think right now his mindset is back to back.
I think if you think about the guys on tour now, I don't know if there's a guy that knows Augusta better than him.
Yeah. No, he's going to give it a run this year, and it's going to be exciting to watch again.
Absolutely, I can't wait for it. Give me another one. Just do it for me, Tiger.
We were lucky to watch the one this year. Watched every moment of it. Yeah, it was something.
I bawled my eyes out.
Oh, dude, I'm not going to talk about the tears that were running down my eyes.
Man, I had to go and hide in another room.
No, my wife was upstairs because she knew I was going to be just emotional. But it was to know after the stories came on afterwards. It was special.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So I was glad to watch that, and I was happy to see him twice this year play. He did miss the cut in both events I went to, but I did see him on the Friday both times, and it was cool to see.
Exactly.
All right, boys. I think Q's probably going to tell us that we're running way over time, but this was fun. I got to vent some golf stuff for the first time in a while.
Yeah, that was nice.
You can always give us a buzz. We can get at it again if you need it.
Absolutely.
Right around major season or something.
Let's do it. When major season comes and we're making our picks for fantasy, let me come out to your guys' pod and let's have a chat.
Yeah, let's do it.
Done. Tom, Chris.
Appreciate the time.
Thank you guys.
Thanks, brother.